That's just like any other, like every genre, it's hard to find the one with African American characters. Except for urban fiction.
I don't like urban fiction, though.
No.
I can't read urban fiction.
Who reads urban fiction?
But that's the thing, is a lot of people do, but I can't read it because in certain ways I can't relate to that either. Because we grew up in a middle class to up.
Don't lie. We're from a hood. I'm not gonna tell you which one, but there is.
We are from a hood,
and I don't know whose hood some of these books are being written about.
That's a true story.
But it wasn't any of the hood that we ever lived in or experienced.
Black is not a monolith. Living in the ghetto is not a monolith. There's
right, that's why I said I don't know whose hood they're writing about, because it's just not mine.
Stuff.
That's all.
And I will say that I have found some urban fiction authors that write from a more, in my point of view, realistic.
Please review some of those, because I've been reading her books that she's been reviewing, and I'm just like, what the hell is this?
I'm sorry.
Because the Black experience, here's the thing, the Black experience is vast.
That's true.
The Black experience is vast. And because it's so vast.
It's even different between the three of us.
It is very different between the three of us.
I feel like reading urban fiction is like watching Real Housewives,
yes,
and Love and Hip Hop, and
stuff that Dad would like to read. Maybe you should tell him about those books. And send me the list of
because he'd be like, "Why are they always dogging these men out?" That would be the first thing he would say.
I agree. Because we grew up with strong, family-oriented males.
But we also grew up with a mother and father, and I find that in a lot of these books, there isn't a strong family unit, and that kind of, that's not something that I understand, because or even relate to, because we had a strong family unit, and a lot of my friends had strong family units. So
but when I met people, they called us the Cosbys. Like, I recognize that that's not always how it is. And
there are strong family units within the Black community, and we need to represent that in the books that we are consuming, because it's not just us consuming these books, because white women are also consuming these books. You might not hear about it, they might not admit to it, but they are. So that needs to be represented, because you're supposed to be reading. Goodbye. Reading time is important.
Wind down with the Williams sisters. We can talk about whatever we want. I will try and steer you back.
Let's talk about this lipstick.
Oh God!
So
I don't wear makeup.
We tried on.
Period.
I don't really wear makeup either. So we tried on 10 different shades.
No, more than that.
More than 10 different shades. First of all, nude.
Let's just
put in the comment section some good ideas for nudes for different color skin tones, because we're all sisters, and yet we couldn't agree on more than maybe 2 or 3 lipsticks that looked good on the three of us, and all of these were supposed to be, looks good on all skin tones. Lies.
No.
Lies.
There were quite a few that looked extremely bad.
Mm-hmm.
Looked
like
powder
this
pink.
Is not a beauty channel, but this came up because I'm the sister that wears makeup, and I really only wear it to do these videos. Let's get it back to books. All right. So, I know it's still early in the year, but we're a quarter of the way in. What was your favorite book that you've read so far this year?
Oh, that's not a good question. You know why? Because I haven't read anything this year that has really stood out. And I'm gonna be
even my book.
Well, okay. No, but that's different. No, that's different, because your books, I get to see the progression in your books from the beginning of the writing and process until the end. So it's very difficult for me to include your books in those lists, because I feel attached to them in a different way.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
where, you know, and I guess that's, you know, just is what it is. But when it comes down
So much
to
for
it,
my argument about my sisters being impartial and being my beta readers.
I am slightly impartial.
The best critic ever.
Yeah, I'm slightly impartial because here's the thing. It's not that I'm reading it and I'm saying this is great because my sister read it. No, if anything, I'm much more critical because you wrote it and I want it to be so perfect that when it comes out, I don't want anybody to be able to say anything rude, because if you say something rude on her darn, let me just say something. If you comment something rude,
she ain't gonna do a damn thing.
You damn no.
She's gonna like down like you if that's a thing.
No, because you can
Put
comment
a sad
now.
face
You can comment
next
now.
to your name.
You can comment now, and you can even go on there and be like, you know, I'm gonna, you know, flag this review for being offensive and all that other stuff. You damn right I will.
Flag
You
your
damn
review.
right. You damn right.
Offensive.
This is
Okay.
my sister. I'm gonna do it all.
We're all old.
Petty. Petty.
As an author, I do not condone this.
Petty.
Look.
But
The
I'm
best
all
book.
for critical reviews. If you don't like my book, at least tell me why. Don't
But
give
if
me
it's
like
just-
a 1 or 2 star rating and not tell me why.
But that's the
because
thing.
gonna
I mean,
bug
if
the
it's
crap out
if
of
it's
me
a real review
forever.
and they have something to say, then okay, I get it. But if you just gonna put a 1-star review and be like, you know, I just didn't like this book because the color of the cover was blue, I'm petty. I will definitely do anything and everything I can to get your review off my sister's book because that's ridiculous.
The book that I loved the most so far this year was Michelle Obama's Becoming. And don't hate me, okay? Because I know we're supposed to be talking about paranormal romance, but that book was the bomb. And I would recommend listening to Michelle read her book in her voice on a... Is it only Audible that has it? It might only be Audible that has it. I would look around.
I can agree
we're
with
all
that.
Amazon
But
people.
I thought we were talking about, you know, paranormal and stuff. But yes, I would have to say.
Oh no, I
I'm
never
gonna be
said that it
honest,
had to be
there's
strictly paranormal.
But like, I'm like, just let's be honest. Like, paranormal is my number 2, and at this point, the most paranormal romance I read is my sister. So, the best book I have read this year has been Becoming.
See, but yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
best new book.
I know because I read a lot. I
Because
read
I've
a
been
lot.
reading Angela's Ashes. Amazing book, by the way.
I read For Color Girls again.
And Homegoing. Oh my god, I read that again earlier this year.
I read For Color Girls.
So
and
good.
then-
I'm
So
gonna
good.
try and get a collection of like a list of the books that were mentioned in this video so that I can put the links in the description box. So if you want to check them out, then you can check them out using my links. Yes, they will be associate links because I do not get paid to do this channel. I do not give you ads. So the least you can do is kick me the 0.02 cents by buying the book from my link. Just saying.
You know what was not good? What was that new Game of Thrones book? Sorry. I started reading it and I got bored.
I
read all the old ones and they were good.
And that, because it's funny because people automatically assume because I am in, that's entirely up my alley when it comes to the types of books that I read. I did not read any of the Game of Thrones.
I don't think I would have read as many of the Game of Thrones books as I did if I wasn't on deployment.
Look, I was working in consulting at the time and I needed something interesting.
I kind of read like a 12-year-old though because I read all the Harry Potters. I read all
I read all the Harry Potters.
I know.
Who didn't? Who has not read all the Harry Potters?
Me. Quite a few people.
I have not read all of the
what?
Harry Potters. You're welcome. There's no more.
Yeah.
You need to read all the Harry Potters.
Yeah, you gotta read Harry Potter. Please don't be so damn, first and foremost, all paranormal heroines are not either blonde, blue-eyed, or black with blue eyes, black hair, blue eyes, or red hair with green eyes. So please.
I ignore
fix
all that. Do you not do that? Like
I do. I can now.
When I
first started reading these books,
I just assume I'm the heroine until they make unless the character development is so terrible that I can't relate. But if I can relate to the character, I just assume she looked just like me. I don't care how you wrote the book.
But that's the thing is that we've done that, over time because we've gotten tired of reading about the same person. So
that's true. And short, can they be tall sometimes? No offense, but all these women are always short.
No, they're not. They're always like Amazonian.
No, I be reading these books and they be like, she's 5'2", 5'3".
Because
why can't she be 5'7", or she's 5'10"?
Yeah.
Let's be 5'7".
Can we be average height?
Not because of anything specific.
And also, the diversity in the heroes would be amazing too. But I don't mess with these books sometimes that are super duper expensive because I got burned in the past buying a $15 book and then starting it and not being able to get through it.
So if I'm gonna spend more than $5 on a book, I'm gonna go buy the book so I can keep it and read it again. That's just how I roll. I also use libraries still, which a lot of people should do.
I
What
use
y'all
libraries
realize
for
that a lot of these books are at the library,
or if they're not, they can be ordered.
Right. But
yes, order my book at your local library.
Right. So I use Kindle Unlimited. I have Amazon Prime. And I don't know if you have to bleep out these names or whatever.
No, I don't have to.
The fact is, because I pay for all of these services, I am very unlikely, unless I know you really, really well as an author, to go out and spend a bunch of money on your particular book. I spend a lot of money on books that I feel like will make me a smarter human being. I read paranormal romance like I can read, a book a day. So I can't be spending $10. And I recognize it's someone's art, right? And so I want to patronize artists.
See, but
But
that's the
I
thing.
can't afford all of that.
If
so that's why
if the
I'm
first
on
book in
Unlimited.
your series comes on in an anthology, or if I can read it for free or even for cheap, I will read that book. And if your book is good, I will continue to buy the books in the series, and I will pay $5, $6, $7 for said book.
Yeah,
but
make a paperback available.
But
if I'm paying $10, then I want to keep it.
Exactly.
That's just me. Not everybody's like that.
But if it's if I have to, if I read the because I am that person, I will return a book on Amazon. I really will. Because if I start,
you can return books on Amazon.
You didn't know you can return books on Amazon?
I don't buy all that.
Yeah.
Wait, let me finish my story first before you guys talk over me again, because I've said like 3 words this entire video. Anyways, so here's my experience.
I reject that.
I was reading. You can tell I'm the youngest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading Fear by Bob Woodward. I co-host a writing group. It was probably my bad for bringing up politics, knowing that it's a mixed crowd in my writing group. But I wasn't trying to bring up politics. I was just trying to talk about the writing style of Bob Woodward because, he's a critically acclaimed journalist.
Read Fear. I read that. I was actually really good.
Yeah, no, I was reading Fear at the time, so I brought it up. Like, hey, I'm reading Fear. I've never read a Bob Woodward book before, but I really enjoyed it, and I like his writing style. Have you guys read any books by him? And that quickly devolved into a political conversation, but everybody was being very respectful about it. We were listening to each other's point of views, and it wasn't an issue, but we had like one person who was just kind of like sitting back and not contributing, and I was like, okay, this is past our writing group time. This is just when we're socializing and hanging out because we meet at bars. So we sit and we talk and we have these discussions as people and as writers, and not, necessarily to bring up anything political, but then like somebody asked, this person was like, oh, I don't want to get into I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I was way willing to just let that slide. Like, okay.
Oh. I would have poked that bear.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you would have.
Conspiracy theorists, how? Aliens? The government?
I was just like, whatever.
Government
I was like, I'm not gonna go down that
aliens?
alley. We're having a nice, productive discussion. Let's not do this. This is a friendly writers group. I know that we all have different political ideals, especially because where I live is very conservative and I'm not. So there, like, it was a respectful discussion at that point. But then, like, the reason, okay, I say this to say
racist.
that this person who said that went on to further say, I hate Mexicans, I hate Hispanics. Literally, after just having a conversation with me about having Latinos and Hispanics in my family.
Yeah, well, someone told me that all immigrants are.
And I'm just saying, if you were in a
criminals
writing
in the country, and that's why they're.
if you were in a writing group
so.
and you wonder why there's only maybe 1 or 2 people of color in your group, it's because there's always going to be that one person that ruins it for everybody. Because you could be cool, you could be okay, but you never know what that next person is going to say, how they're going to interact. But that's one of the biggest problems I see in writers groups, is that there's just this like blinders on where everyone like wants to play nice, but when something off the wall is said, then nobody wants to like.
That's legit, and that's not just for writers group. That's also for readers groups. That's for book clubs. I mean, because I was part of a book club once in college
This kills me. These are all voluntary groups, right?
I know, but that's
if
why
I
you
go
don't
to work
walk.
and someone tells me that immigrants are
But that's
felons,
why we walk.
If I go...
But that's why we walk. We don't, we don't stay in those groups.
Yeah, like
we walk away from
our
it because we're
choice
just
to walk away from those groups. But I'm saying for people who are organizers, for people who actually care about diversity in their groups and they wonder why their group isn't diverse, you should look at some of the members in your group.
And also call them bitches out.
The thing.
It has no affiliation with anyone else.
But here's the thing, though. If you have an organization and you care about diversity of opinion, and let's just be real, like, diversity doesn't stop at skin color. If you don't have anyone in your group that's ever that is disabled in some way, or just
are part of the LGBT community, I mean,
have different religious affiliations, you're not getting. I mean, and then just different socioeconomic backgrounds. What you're not getting is a full view of life on this planet, or even just in this country. And so you're missing out on something. Like having one type of person in a group all together might be fun and comfortable to you, but you're going to miss out on a lot, and you're not going to be as prosperous as other groups that are willing to do the hard work of corralling so many different viewpoints and opinions coming from so many different backgrounds.
And if you don't have that perspective, then you're also not having the same type of depth in your writing that is going to be something that just anyone is going to read. Because if you want my money, then when I read your book and you're writing about a town and absolutely everyone in the town is Caucasian, which is, I mean, does that happen anymore? Are there any places in this world?
Yeah.
Well, there are. I mean,
I'm gonna be honest.
There are.
Ashes I wouldn't. Everybody's white in that book, but the writing is so amazing, and the depth of writing, and also just the diversity of characters within.
In this day of age, I mean, there are places like that, but for the most part, that's not the common view of this country.
Romance, and you do that, that's you creating a space like that. That's not reality.
That isn't. But I mean, and it's not reflected. It's not reflective of reality. And honestly, I get tired of it, because when I'm reading a book and I'm reading about this group of, like this series of werewolves or bears or whatever else, and they are all white.